Hola bafethu, it is your big homie Palo. I bring up business in Spanish bafethu. I hope you had a great Christmas. I hope you're enjoying your festive season. We're about to get into 2024. I hope it's filled with happiness and joy and a lot of progress. All right, so today we're going to be talking about web and software development. This is part 3 of 5 of the IT job type series. Software development is the designing, creating, maintaining and testing of programs or applications. So what software developers do is that they write code and scripts to perform tasks on applications. Basically what developers do is they write code so that their programs and applications can perform different tasks. The importance of software development is automation, innovation, problem solving, networking, basically connecting computers and people, phones, laptops and everything, business growth, and also data management. So we spoke about data management in the back end side of things, and software developers or web developers normally work on the front end side of things. They are the people who develop what you see when you hold your phone or your tablet. So what job roles are there in web and software development? So firstly, we have a software developer or engineer. We then have a web developer. We then have a mobile app developer. So this would also fall under software development and software engineering. We have front-end developers, back-end developers, full-stack developer. We have DevOps engineers. We have quality insurance. We have a quality assurance engineer or a quality assurance developer. We have software architects. We have cybersecurity analysts. We have a machine learning engineer. We also have game developers. Oh, this is quite exciting actually. I've been through a few videos and some short courses on game development. It's quite intense, to be honest, but it's very interesting. We have university programs. So if you want to go through the university path, you can obviously go to your nearest university, and so basically you need to first check which job you like and which job you might be good at and which job you're actually interested in. Do you have the aptitude? Are you actually interested in the job? And do you have the finances? And if that is all good, then you can go to your nearest university, let them know that this is exactly the job that you want. They can give you a list of programs that you can join, get your degree or diploma, and start pushing. Apply early. If you're still in high school, apply early. So if you're already working, just ensure that there are some part-time courses, and once you get those, then you can apply and then start working while you are studying, right? And then we also have, obviously UNISA would then also count as a part of those. So I know some people prefer to rather go through UNISA instead of an actual university, and that's also perfectly fine. Any way that you can to get into the industry, use whatever means you can to get into whichever industry that you choose to get into. And once you're in there, then it's all about you studying and putting the work in. All right, another educational path would be those boot camps, the coding boot camps. So what happens is a company might be selling boot camp seats where you might be going for, it could be a short time, it could be a few months, where you get into a course and you start working. So the good thing about boot camps is that you work while learning immediately. So it's unlike when you're in university where it's mostly theory in the beginning, but with boot camps you really jump right into it and start working on code. So you could also take that path and join a boot camp where you actually have some knowledge on what is required in the industry that you want to get into, and once you are sort of familiar, then you can choose what you want to study if you want to get those qualifications or whichever qualification that you need. And then there are online platforms such as Udemy and Coursera. There's quite a lot. So what you can what you can also do is do a course, and it'll give you some understanding on the career path that you want to take. And once you are comfortable with that, you can then actually go for a qualification, do a course at a university or at a college or through UNISA. And then we obviously have a lot of colleges in South Africa which have software and web development courses. What I've seen, those actually are quite practical, and you actually get into the industry much quicker, from my experience and from what I've seen, where you might be doing a 1 year or 2 year course, and then sometimes you're ready to work or ready to join an internship or a learnership. And then we obviously have government programs where, now these are sometimes they are a bit hard to find, because a lot of companies have learnerships and internships which they advertise, and you can get into that. But now you need to understand, if you're going to be doing that, then you're not going to be earning much initially, but even if you go in as a graduate, you're not going to be earning much. So yeah, just like with any other job, you need to build your experience first. And then, so if you join a learnership through, for example, CETA, then you get your qualification. So that's what's good about it. You actually start working while learning. So within learnerships and internships, you're mostly working and studying a little bit. Working, studying a little bit. So for those who want practical stuff, then you can definitely join a learnership or an internship. They can be hard to find sometimes, but if you keep looking, I'm pretty sure that you'll find something on the internet. Job market. So what is the job market like with web and software development? So web and software development skills are in demand right now because there's a shortage of skills. So as much as there are a lot of people who are actually in the industry, there's still a shortage of skills because the world is evolving into a digital world slowly but surely. And a lot of people are jumping in, but there's still high demand for software and web developers. Like, you can just jump onto LinkedIn right now, or you can jump onto PNet or Careers24. I'm pretty sure you'll find there's quite a lot of jobs. This world is turning digital, and it's enough for everyone who wants to get in. And then with the economy also dropping, a lot of companies are trying to see, where can we fill in the gaps, where can we, and this is actually one of the most important parts, because businesses are just trying to make profit. At the end of the day, when you open a business, it's about profit. And the job market, when it comes to software development, is in high demand because people need to see where the business is at, and obviously they then work with people who are in data. Sometimes people just do it with data people directly, and someone who's in business intelligence might give them those insights. But also people who are in the software and web development field might also jump in and assist with giving insights. So it's also in demand in that sense, where having insights is important to be displayed to end users or to companies or to executives. So what skills and qualities are needed to be in the web and software development industry? So firstly, you need to have problem solving skills. You need to look at an issue. You need to know how to navigate around that problem and get to the bottom of it and give a solution to that problem. So you need to have that skill where you need to know from A to B what is required and how to actually get from A to B, and you also need to explain how to get from A to B. So it's not just about doing it, you also need to be able to explain it, because you're not working alone. So you need to be able to explain how you solved your problem. You need to have a problem solving attitude, because at the end of the day, when you are developing a program, it's literally called a solution. You need to be a team player. Right, so the reason why you need to be a team player is because for the most part you are not working alone. Yes, some full stack developers do work alone, and but at the end of the day, they also still need to communicate with people who are testing. They need to communicate with business, or they need to communicate with people who are going to be working on the data side of things. All right. So you need to be a team player when you are in the web and software development industry, because you are never working alone, and you need some information to actually know how to make the program work. All right. So like we said, like we said earlier on, people who are doing this job are people who actually code programs to perform tasks. So for them to actually do the right job, they need to speak to the people who require those tasks to be programmed. Attention to detail. So this is also just like the previous episode where we spoke about attention to detail. You can get into a lot of trouble if you don't pay attention to detail. You can also lose a lot of money, and you strictly need to pay attention to detail when you're writing code, because a single full stop or a single error in what you in the code that you're writing might cause serious issues and might cost millions of rands while you're trying to code or script, and that could land you in a lot of trouble. All right, so you need to be able to pay attention to detail. That's a must, actually. You also need to be adaptable, right? So since you are working with people who are on the data side of things, and you are working with people who are on the business side of things, you need to understand, you need to be able to take information from here, using you need to have soft skills and technical skills, basically, because when someone is giving you a briefing of what is required, you need to be able to break things down as to, okay, no, this can't happen because of ABC, but not in a technical way, in a way that the end user will understand. So yeah, when you are in web and software development, you need to have both skills. You need to know soft skills, you also need to know technical skills, which means you have to be adaptable. And sometimes you might be working on a project and then you need to jump onto another project, and that can happen so quickly that you haven't even wrapped your head around it, and then boom, you already hit the ground running, and you have to continue going. Otherwise, that's another side of software and web development, where you have to be adaptable. Sometimes you might be working in the retail industry, and then from retail you now have to jump into banking and finance, or you now have to jump into insurance, or you now have to jump into logistics. Doesn't matter what it is, but you need to be a person who's adaptable and understand different industries, so that you are able to develop the right programs and applications. Another skill that is required is time management. You need to manage your time efficiently, otherwise you're gonna miss deadlines, otherwise you're gonna not be able to deliver correctly. So yeah, like I said, you also need to be someone who can put themselves in another person's shoes. So if you are a developer and you're speaking to someone who doesn't know anything about the technical skills required to actually have the program running, you need to be able to break it down to the next person in such a way that they'll understand it, they'll understand what you're capable of, they'll understand what you can do and what you can't do. All right, so you need to be able to put yourself in the next person's shoes, and that's about the easiest way to explain it. That you need to put yourself in the next person's shoes, and that way it's easier for you to explain and make them understand exactly what you're talking about. So for web and software development, to get into the industry, and just some career advice if you want to get into the industry, the first thing would be to learn as much as you can by doing the basics, understanding what each language is. So don't just pick a language or just pick a course without knowing which languages are going to be taught. So ultimately, at the end of the day, languages are kind of similar. The syntax is different and whatnot, but the way programming works is that the way coding is structured, it can be very similar. It's just that especially when it comes to something called object-oriented programming, just do some research on that. Do some research on what object-oriented programming is first, and then get to know which language you'll be comfortable with. But I've seen that a lot of people are starting to learn programming through a language called Python. So Python is a lot easier than other languages. It's easy to learn. It's easy as a starting language. And once you've learned that, you can then jump onto other languages, because it'll be easier to understand, because you'll know the structure and syntax of how to code. So once you've chosen a language and once you've chosen a course, start building some projects, even if it's just a project for yourself, even if it's a project for someone, even if it's joining a project to learn or shadow someone, but be involved in an actual project. That's how you actually get to learn. So join an actual project, start doing some work on it. Some people, you might have an idea for a new application or program. Work towards that, or find people who are working towards something similar, so that your interest is heightened and you'll focus more and you actually enjoy doing it, which means you'll actually learn because if you enjoy something, you'll definitely learn. You should also start networking with people in the same industry, or people who are already in the industry, so that they can plug you with other people, and then you can build a network for yourself, and that way you get to know where some seminars are being held. You might get to know where other jobs are being advertised, so you might get to actually know about jobs before they are advertised. You might so basically, if you're going to build a network, it's going to help you with progressing in the software and web development industry with less effort. We're not saying that less effort is a good thing always, but you'll actually be able to move much quicker, and it'll be a very smooth sail towards your goals. Also, do some freelancing or internships. If you're going to be freelancing, obviously you'll then need a lot of experience, but just freelance just to get a little bit of understanding, because now if you work on something that is in your time, so let's say at the moment you're currently working as someone who is in retail, right? Learn a language, understand what's going on, and then have that experience. And then if you're going to freelance, let's say you want to freelance as a web developer or as a UI UX developer, what you then can do is, while you're working, when you're at home, you start pushing your other work, which is your your freelance work, and ensure that you know what you're doing, right? So you're definitely going to need to know what you're doing, because you might charge people a certain amount and you can't really deliver the job, which will then cause problems amongst
That's a story for another day. That's actually a story for another day. We'll break that down properly.
Do some freelancing, join internships, or join learnerships, so that you can also, this will also help you to build your network, as we previously stated. And once you start actually working on real projects, then you're good to go. You can't forget. It's hard to forget what you've been doing. So once you're there, then you start learning and freelancing with more projects, and you get to learn how different industries work, and then you basically become proficient, and you become adaptable, as we've spoken, that it's one of the skills that are required, where you start small and then you keep pushing, and then suddenly you know quite a lot, and you know a lot of languages. You also know a lot of you know how to work in a lot of industries. Okay, another piece of advice would be to stay updated on the newest trends within your industry, so that you don't stay behind. Hey guys, this newer generation is very interested in programming, and they are now even moving much quicker than the previous generation, because now they are actually interested and they love it, and they still have the energy. They don't care about the money. They only care, or mostly care, about the work and how fulfilling it is. So you know what, it's best to always stay updated, so that you don't fall behind. And then another one would be to always seek feedback. So this is more about this is more of a communication thing, where you need to understand your strengths and weaknesses, so that you can be able to progress in a way that is catered for you. because whenever you're working, you need to hear from another person. How is your input? How good are you? How bad are you? Where do you need improvement? Where do you need to slow it down a bit? So it's like, you always need to seek feedback so that you know exactly where you are. You can't always know 100% that, I am this great developer and what. No. You need to also seek feedback and hear from others about your coding practices. But you learn about these things once we have a dev with us to break these things down. All right, but it's always important to seek feedback. It's always important to seek feedback. It's always important to seek feedback from especially your superiors, and to also ask about, like, for example, if you feel like something is going wrong in the way you do things, then you can simply ask, hey, tell me something, how can I improve this way of doing things, or how can I do this thing better? So just always seek feedback, and that's about it. Okay guys, like I said earlier, I hope you transition into 2024 gracefully, and I hope you have a great year. And once again, knowledge is a powerful weapon. Arm yourself. Thanks for watching. So when you are developing a project,
Yo, shout out to Caesar, man. Shout out to Caesar, man.
Hey, swasi bafethu